Makadi mose muri Zimbabwe kusiyana zvekare pano pachivhitivhiti paTV yenyu patinenge tichikupai nyaya nemalotesi updates anenge achiitika munyika yeZimbabwe. Nhasi uno takabata nyaya iri kuitika kumabarracks, nyaya iri kuitika kumaarmy commanders. Muri Zimbabwe ndofunga munozviziva kuti panguva iye yakanga ichitungamirirwa naPV Sivanda pane motokari dzakatengwa nana Wikini Uchifayo dzakanga dzichitarisirwa kuti dzinenge dzichipiwa mauto. Mota idzodzo dziri kunzi dzakarambwa. Kune mota dzakarambwa nevakomana ivavo vechiutwa. Saka naizvozvo zviri kunzi ana Wikini Uchifayo vari kuzama nepanogona napo kuti vanyengetedze vakuru ava kuti vange vachitora motokari idzi, sezvo muri kuona situation yatatasana nayo munyika kuti Emerson Damudzi Mnangagwa ari kutry by all means kuti akwanise kuamenda constitution. Kana aamenda constitution akwanise kucreate mafeud dynasty. Emerson Damudzi Mnangagwa ari kuramba kuti iye anoda kuti asvike 2030, but apa serious manje akuda kutoshandisa ginya kuti anga achipinda 2030. Zvinova zviri zvinhu zvatiri kupokana nazvo isusu muri yeZimbabwe. Ndofunga Wikini Uchifayo ane mota dzaakatenga ma 300 series maland cruisers ari kuda kuti agovere vakuru matop members the military. Asi matop members ka havasirivo vanoenda kunorwaka, havasirivo vanonorwa, kunogona kutobuda vamwe vanhu vanotobuda imo. Saka muri Zimbabwe iyi nyaya haisi kuzopera zvakanaka because vakomana ava vari kufoseredzwa kuti vabvume mota dzinana Wikiniwo. Sezvo munoziva kuti Wikiniwo anenge atotumwa naED kuti itai izvi, vaforce vape, but ndo mamiriro azvakaita muri Zimbabwe. Takuti tikuone sei kuti vakomana vari kufoseredzwa kuti vatambire magifts aya, but magifts acho havasi kumada nekuti vari kuziva kuti ane maconsequences. So muri Zimbabwe tiri papo tine conversation yatakakubatira yange ichitaurwa panga pana Senator Ngonzora vachitaura about the current situation. Iyoyo conversation vanga vachitaura neruzhinji rweZimbabwe kunyanya vari kudiaspora. Conversation iyo yakakosha, ndoda kuti munyatsoteerera panyaya dzeconstitution apa kuti Emerson anohwinire kana kuti ahwine, because conversation yacho ndo yatakakubatira panapa. Saka tichakusiyai makateerera kubva kune conversation yacho iyoyo.
I wanted to ask on, in terms of the foundational, altering the foundational, provisions. What next then for the future? I think you've handled that well with the next one coming in saying that I need 5 years, another one saying that I need 10 years, etc. And then briefly you touched on the unity of purpose, the unity in terms of the opposition, movement, because there's been an argument that focusing on number 3 alone is kind of too narrow. If you focus it in isolation, it's kind of too narrow, because there's a deeper structural issue that needs to be dealt with, such as the institutional capture, looking at electoral credibility, and the overreach by the executive branch, which I think you've glossed over, because we do not have much time. Can you speak to me about the consequence of not narrowing this focus on amendment, number 3, other than one coming in and demanding more? What is the consequence that we are facing here, and why is it you are calling for a unit of purpose for people to come and fight in one corner to try and fight amendment number 3 instead of broadening this fight?
Well, first of all, it is an immediate issue. It is an emergency. It's an emergency.
Hold on, Senator. Hold on.
And therefore,
Senator, hold on.
People tend to.
Senator, hold on. Chengetai?
Yes. Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to remind us of the time that we have left. We started at past, we ended past. That's an hour. But because you have been having the conversation, the two of you, which is interesting, very valid questions, I think after that, we can just allow 3 questions and then we call it a day. Thank you.
Yeah, that was, my last, submission, to him, and then I'll open it, to 3 questions. So, Senator, if you can respond, to that, and then I'll allow 3 questions from the floor, and then now we'll call it a day.
Yes. I was saying that why people were focusing on amendment number 3 was that it is an emergency, and the fight for amendment number 3, if it succeeds, does not benefit one person. It benefits everybody as a collective. And if it does not succeed, the danger is that for for additional 2 years, the resources of the country will be pillaged because the forces that are pushing amendment number 3 are not even in parliament. And I dare say they are not even in cabinet. They are outside it, and they are exercising a lot of influence because they have access, unequal access to resources. So this is the big fight for everyone. But of course, as the opposition, it makes sense that we should unite. Number one, because the people of Zimbabwe themselves are saying it. If you, I bumped into a Chavisa supporter today, and he says, but Senator, why don't you guys talk it over and work together? I met, Max Babawe Shandoko
Yes.
when I visited him in prison. The man is in a sorry state. He's been
dear.
abandoned by his comrades. And he says that it is important that people unite. It is something sensible. But also, the unity is not confined to the opposition. It is also must extend to the entire nation. There are certain things that we must be united about. If we are to defend our country, we must be united on that. To preserve our natural resources for the benefit of our people, we must be united on that. To make Zimbabwe a better economy, a better country, a better democracy, we must be united on that, irrespective of our political opinions. To fight natural disasters like we did on COVID, I got a lot of flack on that when I joined President Mnangagwa and the government to say, let's fight, let's encourage people to be vaccinated. And some people took advantage of that for their propaganda. But when we have emergencies like that, we ought to unite. We ought to unite in defense of the Constitution. And, one of the consequences, Uncle Gerard, of this amendment going through is to parade your president as a liar before the international community. Remember, the president was interviewed by CNN.
Yes.
His answers were very, very clear that he won't go for the third.
And by Sky News as well.
And he was interviewed, I think it is in China. And then I think recently he said something. And what these people, the forces that are behind this are doing, are pushing him into embarrassment. Now, he is not a president of my party, but he is the president of my country. And I worry about how the other people in other countries look at my country. And presidents must be people of their word. And what this is going to do is going to make the president look like a person who is not a man of his word. And I wonder what the real benefit of that is going to be.
Right. Aiwa, thank you very much for that. I do appreciate. Inini handisina mubvunzo nemi ngatimboisira panapa mimwe yacho tichazoivhunza nezvimwe zvirongwa zvinoteera when we do other programs. I'm quite sure we're going to be having you back here on the program where we can go on and discuss other issues that we did not discuss today, because there are so many. But anyway, I want to bring in Mofu Titus. Have you got a quick question to the senator?
Yeah, thanks. I think, Uncle, you did touch a lot of questions that I had, but maybe I will just say to ask Senator. So, if this bill does go ahead, does that mean then we have a new 7-year term limit for presidential and parliamentary elections going forward? And also, secondly, I just wanted to hear his thoughts. You know, we know his position about this. We know we've got different groups, organizations. I'll give an example of Tendai BT, Johnson Timber, who are all fighting against this. Uh, is it more impactful you guys coming together, or is better if you're fighting from different corners fighting against it, or you better off like coming just as one group? I think you did quite touch on that. Maybe those are just the two quick fire questions I would pose.
Right. Did you hear those, Senator?
Yes, I did.
Please, yeah, if you can, quickly respond.
What it means? It means more for if this amendment is to settle through, the way they want it to settle through. The presidential term is therefore going to end in 2030. It also means that the parliamentary term is going to end in 2030. This is because there is a word that is in section 95, and that word is co-terminus. It says the presidential term shall be 5 years, co-terminus with the life of parliament. What that means is that they go together, they go parallel to each other. So if the president is sworn on the 9th of September, even when parliament was sworn in a week before, or a month before, or even a year before, the term of parliament starts running on the 9th of September, which is the date of the swearing in of the president. So that co-terminus has not been removed. So then putting the president's term to 7 years, co-terminus. And that's why you see most of the MPs are now very quiet about it, except those, of course, who are very clear. People like Chabangu, for example, is very, very clear about what he thinks and he wants. And sometimes there is that person who says what they want is respectable, more respectable than people who keep quiet while desiring something but hoping to just benefit from it, while masquerading as people who don't want that. So we have seen a number of MPs. I read the caucus meeting minutes. If they are true, it's quite a tragedy for opposition MPs to say, we accept the amendment. However, we are going to consult the masses. That's not what you do. What you do is you consult the masses, you consult your members, and then come with a position. Now they have a position, and they are going to tell their constituencies on what to do. And I found that quite disconcerting, but it is the way they want to do their politics. Coming together to do the same thing is the most noble thing to do. But in the opposition, we have a lot of poisoned relationships. When people were fighting, they made sure they burnt everything, including the bridges. But it takes